Hello everyone, welcome to the discussion on international relations, approaches to the study of international relations, as we have taken up approaches in this series as unit 1. So let's start today with critical international theory as one of the approaches to international relations. Critical international theory. Both Gramscianism and critical theory have their roots in Western Europe in the year 1920s and 1930s. This was the time and also the place when Marxism was forced to come to terms not only with the failure of the series of attempted revolutionary uprisings but also with the rise of fascism. However, contemporary critical theory and Gramscian thought draw on the idea of different thinkers and different intellectual concerns. There is a clear difference in focus between these two strands of Marxist thought, with those concerned with Gramscian thought concentrate upon issues related to subfield of international political economy than critical theorists. Critical theorists, on the other hand, have involved themselves with questions concerning international society, international ethics, and security. Critical theory developed out of the work of the Frankfurt School. So, as I have been using this term Frankfurt School, let us know about it. So, this Frankfurt School was an extraordinary group of thinkers who began to work together in 1920s and 1930s. And as left-wing German Jews, the members of the Frankfurt School were forced into exile by Nazi rise to power in the early 1930s, and much of their most productive work was developed in USA because they have been forced to exile. As this has been recently added to the new syllabus of Net Political Science paper 2, let us take the key features of the critical theory of international relations so that it becomes easier for everyone to understand. Their intellectual concerns are different from all other Marxists. Here I mean the critical theorists. Their intellectual concerns are different from all other Marxists in the sense that they have not been much interested in the further development of analysis of the economic base of society. This is to be pointed out here and remembered here that they are not interested in the further analysis of economic base of society. Moreover, they have instead concentrated on questions related to bureaucracy, culture, the social basis, and the nature of authoritarianism, the structure of the family, and on explaining such concepts as reason and rationality, as well as theory of knowledge. This has been their focus of study. In classical Marxist terms, the focus of critical theory is almost entirely superstructural. Critical theorists have been highly dubious as to whether the proletariat in contemporary society does in fact embody the potential for emancipatory transformation in the way Marx believed. Rather, with the rise of mass culture and increasing commodification of every element of social life, Frankfurt School thinkers have argued that the working class have simply been absorbed by the system and they no longer represents a threat to it. Critical theorists have made some of their most important contribution through their explorations of the meaning of emancipation, which is a most important term that will be coming around the discussion in critical theory of international relations. Emancipation, as traditional Marxists have equated emancipation with the process of humanity gaining ever greater mastery over nature through the development of ever more sophisticated technology and its use for the benefit of all. This is the perspective of the traditional Marxist. But critical theorist says that humanity increased domination over nature had been bought at a too high price, claiming that the kind of mindset that is required for conquering nature slips all too easily into the domination of other human beings. So they depart from the traditional Marxist perspective on emancipation. So in contrast, they argued that emancipation had to be conceived in terms of a reconciliation with nature, an evocative, if admittedly vague, vision. Andrew Linklater, one of the most influential proponent of critical theory, you must remember his name, it's important also. He equates emancipation with the process in which the borders of the sovereign state lose their ethical and moral significance. At present, state borders denote the furthest extent of our sense of duty and obligation, or at best, the point where our sense of duty and obligation is radically transformed, only proceeding in a very tenuated form. So, for critical theorists, this situation is simply indefensible. The goal is therefore to move towards a situation in which citizens share the same duty and obligation towards the non citizens as they do towards their fellow citizens. So, an important element of the critical theory method is to identify, or if possible, nurture tendencies that exist in the present conjuncture that point in the direction of emancipation. So now we have come to question answer part. So in 1930s, both Gramscianism and critical theory have their roots in Western Europe in the 1920s and 1930s, a place and a time in which Marxism was forced to come to terms not only with the failure of series of attempted revolutionary uprisings but also with the rise of fascism. Next answer is Habermas. So Habermas has argued that emancipatory potential lies in realm of communication and that radical democracy is the way in which the potential can be unlocked. Habermas's recent writings have begun to focus on the international realm. Habermas's central political point is that the route to emancipation lies through radical democracy. The next answer is Herbert Marcus. Frankfurt School thinkers have argued that the working class has simply been absorbed by the system and they no longer represents a threat to it. This is to use Marcus' famous phrase is a one-dimensional society to which the vast majority cannot begin to conceive an alternative. Next answer is international society, international ethics and security, as critical theorists have involved themselves with the questions concerning international society, international ethics and security, the latter in the development of critical security studies. So basically they focused on or concentrated on international society, ethics and security. The next and the last one is the Frankfurt School. Critical theory developed out of the work of Frankfurt School. The leading lights of the first generation of the Frankfurt School included Max Horkheimer, Theodor Adorno, and Herbert Marcus. A subsequent generation has taken up the legacy of these thinkers and developed it in important innovative way.